Newly signed UFC Bantamweight Adrian Yanez. Adrian, it's great to get you back on the show. Last time we spoke, you were hyped for your Contender Series fight. That hype led to that 39-second knockout. How are you feeling today?
Man, I'm feeling great, man. I it's just been like a really great thing about it, about like especially coming off of that knockout and then going into this next fight. I'm on a high. I'm on a roll. I haven't stopped training. I've been consistently training. Haven't skipped a day or anything. Especially right after my fight. After my fight, I just kept training. I had training partners getting ready for their fights, and then it just kind of kept rolling for me. I just never stopped, even after all the fights were done, and I still had like 2 months for the fight. I just still kept training, man, because I knew what I wanted, and I still know what I want. And man, I want to go in there October 31st, and I want to make my name. I want to make my debut something to remember. So I'm super excited, super happy, and I'm ready to go.
All right, I want to rewind back to when you were heading into the Contender Series fight. You were coming off one of the longest layoffs of your career. Was ring rust a worry in your preparations?
Not necessarily, because man, I know I reference it a lot, but I was getting ready to fight March 13th, so I never really had like it wasn't really ring rust. It was just more of me wanting to get in there. It was like going into a high that uh like March 13th I was gonna go in there and I was gonna fight. I was super hyped. I was super excited. I was gonna get to go in there and fight. The day of that fight gets canceled, so it was more of like I didn't get the excitement of fighting. So I wouldn't necessarily call it ring rust, but I was just eager and super happy to ready to get in there because even during that time, that Corona time, where everything was like legitimately shut down, I was still working out. I was still training, so I never got the rust. Like whenever you get injured and you have to be off to the side. That's whenever you start getting your rustiness because you're not able to train for 8 weeks or depending on what injury you have. But for me, I never stopped training, so I never got the rustiness. I was ready to go, and just by the fight itself, you can tell that it didn't apply.
Yeah, it did not apply, and some people say that ring rust is psychological, right? And maybe you might not know it, but subconsciously you got over that barrier. You just don't know until in the future when you do maybe possibly have a long layoff again.
Yeah, man, I think it is more on the mental side, because like if it was anybody else, it might have took effect on them, but for me, I was just so ready just to get inside that cage. I had like early in the year, I had that fight canceled. I had the high taken away from me of wanting to go in there and fight, so it just slid over to the contender series spot. And then also, I was just ready for the moment at that time for the contenders. Uh, whenever I fought Brady, I was zoned in. I was in a different mindset, like a mind space. Whenever going into that fight, I didn't have the whole like rustiness feeling. I had the ready to get in there and scrap.
Now, how long after did you get into camp mode for your UFC debut?
It was like right after. It was like about a week or two after my last training partner fought in the contender series, Liamana. Uh, I was always training. We were consistently training, so I never got out of shape. But we didn't really kick training up until like a week or two after. Because man, I had gotten to that point where I was in shape. Now it was just kind of just adding little fine tuning things here and there, what I needed to do, uh, and what I needed to do, and what adjustments I need to make. So after that, we started grinding. We've been pushing hard, uh, and training's been great. It's been one of those things where I've been feeling great. Uh, I've had literally no off days. I've just been going straight into training. I've not taken a day off. Consistently training, man. And one thing I've been doing is I've been doing a lot more tracking of my body. The UFC, like one big perk that the UFC did for me, and the UFC PI did for me, is they got me that Aura ring. It helps track your heart rate, your sleep, and everything. So it's actually helped me intensify my training for a lot for a lot of days, like, and I can see where my progression is at, like, just physically. But also on the technical side, man, we've been getting better like this whole entire time. I've already been in shape, and this ring kind of helped me know that, hey, you are legitimately in shape. Let's focus on technique, and let's focus on getting you to the fight and everything. So, man, it's been great.
Well, I guess the ring actually gives you some confidence when you're heading into those sessions then.
Oh yeah, it gave me a lot of confidence, because there are some days where, you have those midday slumps, and you're just like, man, I'm 2 hours away from getting off of work. I have to go train right after this. Like, oh man. But with the ring, I look at it, and like, I just look at all the stats that it's been giving me, and I'm just like, all right, it's just a midday slump. Yeah, my body's recovered, and I'm like at a 95% right now. I'm good to push hard today. I'm good to push hard today. And then whenever I go to the gym and I start working out and I get past that slump, I'm like, oh, okay, like this ring wasn't lying. So it's one of those things that it's helped me out, and then it helps me track my heart rate and everything. Man, this ring has not came off since I've gotten it, and I've been using it to its full potential. So it's helped me out tremendously.
Now, you have a 3-month turnaround. You're heading back to Vegas. Were you secretly wishing, like, man, why didn't they put me on the Fight Island card?
Well, first and foremost, I didn't have my passport. I would have loved to
Okay.
have gone to Fight Island, but also it's a give and take, because I didn't want to get on the 18-hour flight. That 18-hour flight would have killed me, man. And right now, I would have loved to have gone, but at the same time, I'm kind of glad that I didn't. The 18-hour flight's hectic, and then also too, it gave me a little bit more time to kind of just focus on my technique. Uh, focus and hone in on my technique, especially during all these times that I get to see all the fights. I'm the first fight that whenever they come back from Abu Dhabi. So uh, I would have loved to have went, but also that 18-hour flight doesn't sound good with me. It doesn't sound good to me. I can barely do those 3-hour flights to Vegas. So I'm just like, I'm cool with this.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, man. Like, I don't like to go any longer than 6 hours on a plane. It kills you for days. Aaron Phillips, is your first opponent in the UFC cage. He's a good striker. Do you think he possesses the perfect style for your debut?
Man, I feel like we match up very well. I feel like his hands aren't good. Well, let me rephrase that. His hands aren't as good as my hands. My boxing superior. His kicks, man, they just have a lot. They have power, but they're telegraphed. From what I see, it might be different in the cage, but from what I see, I see that they're slow, but they have a thud to them. He comes straight in, straight back. I see a lot of things that for me, I think is a perfect matchup for me to come in. He's a stand-up fighter. I'm a stand-up fighter, and like I said before, I've turned a lot of these strikers into wrestlers, and I feel like no different is gonna come October 31st. I feel as soon as he takes his first jab or his first cross or his first kick, once he sees the hand speed coming back at him, he's gonna be like, "Yep, I can't deal with this. I'm gonna shoot in." And when he shoots in at me on me, I'm gonna be fully ready for him to try to shoot in. I'm ready to reverse position or like stuff the shot and land on top, and just give him the business, man. I'm just ready. If he wants to shoot in and wrestle, I'm willing to wrestle. I don't mind showcasing my wrestling at this early stage of my career. I would like a knockout, because of that 50K bonus would be amazing. Go in there, shut his lights out and just walk around doing the Conor McGregor, the 50 G's, baby, and I just walk around. That'd be great, man. That'd be absolutely amazing. But if he tries to slow it down and do some wrestling, man, I have no problem, getting on top and ground and pounding, getting the stoppers that way or submitting them. But like I said, I want that knockout. Man, the first mistake he does, man, I'm capitalizing, and I'm gonna capitalize big.
With Phillips, he's in the middle of his second stint in the UFC. Did you go back and watch some of his old fights?
Yeah, I saw a little bit of his old fights from the UFC. Uh, that was an Aaron Phillips that if I was fighting him today, uh, it'd be for sure it'd be another early first round knockout. The second Aaron Phillips now that I know I'm fighting, uh, he's honed his technique a lot more. Uh, Definitely more dangerous than the first Aaron Phillips. Definitely more dangerous than the first Aaron Phillips. This second time around that he's in, he's refined his technique, but also I just feel that I'm a way better tactician. I'm a way better striker. I have a higher fighter IQ than he does. Skill for skill, I don't think he matches up with me. Uh, but I know he's in it. He's in it this time. This is the second time go around. He knows that this is his last chance to probably fight in the UFC. Like he might get because after this fight, he's gonna drop to I think he's gonna have no wins in the UFC, no wins in the UFC. So he might just get cut. He might get cut after the fight with me, or he might do that. He might go up a weight class or so, whatever. He is kind of a big bantamweight, but uh, I just don't see it going good for him. That he looks like a good guy, so I kind of wish he wasn't fighting me because I would like to see him win. But he signed the contract against me, so the guy's gonna get it.
Do you feel there was more pressure going into the Contender Series compared to making your UFC debut?
I somewhat feel that. I somewhat feel that because I was fighting for my future at that point. I was fighting for at that point of like, man, if I don't get signed, because I've already had so many ups and downs. I've came close to. I felt like I was close to getting into the UFC 2 times in my career, and one was my split decision loss to Domingo, and the other one was my split decision loss to Miles Johns. So this is my third time. Now, getting into the Dana White Contender Series was my third time that I felt that close, and I couldn't let that go away. So it was just this big moment for me, and I felt especially at that time, if I would have lost, that would have put me at 10-4. At that point, I would have to go on a 4-fight win streak to even get considered by the UFC. So it was just all up in the air for me at that point. So for me to go in there and just kind of just do what I did was a big relief. And this time going in, I'm more like, oh, okay, I'm in the UFC. But I'm still taking it as in I'm fighting for my contract every single day. But the pressure of the fight isn't as big as whenever I was fighting Brady. There's the stipulation of me fighting for a future in the UFC or everything. The dream phase of getting into the UFC was how do I say it, was bigger than what the fight is now. To me now I'm just in fight mode. I'm ready to go. I'm just ready to go in there and just start showcasing my skills and ready just to make my name. And it's more of it's gonna get done now. It's more of I'm gonna get this done now, and I'm gonna show y'all guys instead of me fighting for approval. If that makes sense.
It definitely makes sense. Your Contender Series fight was only 39 seconds. You went in as the favorite. You performed like the favorite. Do you feel like you're the favorite against Aaron Phillips?
I'm always gonna feel like I'm the favorite, but I'm also gonna train like I'm the underdog. I like I said, I skill for skill, I believe I'm way better than Aaron Phillips. But also, this is his second time around. He's training his butt off so he can go in there and keep his UFC contract. I'm in there. I got to put a stop to that because I'm not losing in the UFC. I'm going in there. I got to go across the cage. I got to put him on his back and starch him. I got to go out there and do what I have to do because I want to stay in the UFC and I want to work my way up and I want to work my way up towards that belt. And my first person that I got to go through is Aaron Phillips. So I got to go out there and starch this guy, and that's what I'm going to do.
Do you see yourself getting a 38-second knockout? Is that what the goal is?
I'm hoping so. If he comes in aggressive, man, it might be 15.
All right. So the first round knockout is something that is imprinted in your mind.
First round knockout, man. But I'm in shape to go all. I'm in shape to go 5. Let's just say I'm in shape to go 5 rounds. But if like I said, aiming for a first round knockout, but I'm ready to go 5 rounds.
Now, in the bantamweight division, there's a long list of fighters. Many people consider the bantamweight division the best division, not just in the UFC, but in the world, like across all promotions. Who is on the hit list for you? Like some guys that you want to face off, maybe not really in the top 15, but some guys that are in there that have a couple fights.
Oh man, all of them can get it, man. Like I look at that division, man. I look at the division. I'm just looking, and I just see a whole bunch of names that haven't fought me, and I just want to X them out, man. I just want to X them out. There's too many fighters to even name. The top 15, man. Any one of those guys in the top 15 could be a champ at any given time. So man, it just excites me. I'm like really excited whenever they mention the bantamweight division and how crazy it is, how stacked it is. I'm a part of that. So I want to make sure that I stand out from that piece. Like all those 135ers up there, man. They got Aljo. You have the Sandman Sandhagen, who just fought last night. Even the guy that he fought, Marlon Moraes. Dude, all those guys are studs and killers, man. Even though Marlon Moraes lost, he's still a stud. He's still a killer. He got Frankie Edgar out there. That dude is fought from lightweight, featherweight. Now he's at bantamweight. A good fighter. You got Pedro Munoz. You have Cody Garbrandt. Whether he moves down to flyweight or tries to come back up, all those guys are killers, man. You got Chito Vera, Ricky Simone, man. All these guys, man. All these guys, man. They're studs. They're freaking studs. But it makes me, it excites me, man. It excites me a lot because I wanted to get into the UFC to fight the best, to be the best. Like, I want to be one of the best in the world. And the 135 division at this point in time is the most stacked division in my opinion. And I want my name to be solidified around those guys. Man, I want to get the belt. So of course that like it just shows that I want to be beating all these guys. So man, I'm just super excited. Anytime anybody's bringing up the 135 division, man, they start naming names. I'm just like, yes, this excites me. While a lot of people would look at it and be like, oh man, that guy is pretty tough. He is pretty tough. That guy, he does hit hard. Me, I'm just like, man, that's a problem, but I'm a problem solver, man. I really love this, and I'm really excited to go in there and put my best foot forward and try to knock all these guys out.
You're 26, very young. You haven't even been close to your prime yet. Do you feel like, okay, I could take the slow approach? You know what I mean? I don't have to fight the best guys right away, because sometimes you see that happen too fast, and these guys fizzle out, right? They don't reach their potential. Do you feel like I could take that slower approach with my career?
Oh, definitely. I've always kind of managed, like, told myself is that I don't want to be shot up overnight. Like even in my whole career, I've always been that slow burn. I've always and that's how I'm taking it right now. Everything that came my way, I worked hard towards it, and I've never stopped, and I always wanted to keep on going and just keep pushing forward. And that's exactly what I'm gonna do in my UFC career. Even if it is a slow burn, I don't mind it, because I'm gonna get there. Whatever goal I'm setting, I'm gonna get there toward at whatever point in my career. Even if it happens within the next year or 2 years or 3 years or 4 years, I'm gonna get there. It does to me. It's not a matter of how. It's a matter of when it's gonna happen. When I'm gonna get to the top, because I'm gonna get there. I'm definitely gonna get there. In my own mind, it's 3 years from me. 3 years and I'm in the top 5. Like my first year, I'm gonna get the fights. My second year, I want to try to be breaking into the top 10, and by my third year, I want to be fighting trying to fight my way into the top 5. But let's just say it happens faster. If my first year, I'm fighting someone in the top 15, or in my second year, I'm fighting someone in the top 5. I've kind of already gameplayed my strategy out, and looking to have a 3-year plan. Whether it slows it down, it might be 4 or 5, or if it speeds up, it's 1 and 2. I'm ready for either one. Like I know at this point in time, with me about to just go full on in with MMA training, I'm gonna have this like really big jump in my skills and be able to improve a lot more. That man, maybe that 1 or 2 might be looking a little bit better for me, or instead of that 3 or 4 years. So man, it's all a matter of when. I'll like my fights will pretty much show you or show everybody else when I'm ready to hit that top 5.
No doubt. One last thing, Anderson Silva is the main event of the show you're debuting on. That must be, as a striker, it must be like, man, incredible, right?
Oh man, I'm super excited, man. I'm super excited, man. They've been calling this his retirement fight and everything, which I believe, but also it's Anderson Silva. He wants to keep on fighting, but if it is his retirement fight, I feel like it's just a really good omen that one of the greatest of all times, the greatest middleweight of all time, is retiring on the day that I'm making my debut. I just feel like that's like whatever's going on. I just feel like it's working, and it's working in my favor. And man, I'm super happy. I'm super excited, and I'm ready to go. Especially, man, I just remember watching back in the day. I can't remember if I had already fought or if I haven't. Like I was an amateur. I just remember being at CC's Pizza, and like it was like one of those private owned CC's Pizzas where like the guy was throwing on pay-per-view events at CC's, and we're there. You can still eat the buffet and everything, which at the time was really cool. But we're watching Anderson Silva versus Vitor Belfort, and just watching him hit him with that up kick. I was still in amazement and all that, and just even the fights before. But that one to me stuck out the most because how he did it. He made like the most dangerous guy in the division at that time look so easy. He took him out, making it look so easy. Man, he's done that countless of times before. But man, just to fight on somebody who I idolized for the longest time, man, dude, to me it's only a dream come true. And the only way to make it better for me is if I go out there and get that 50K, and then Anderson Silva wins. You know, I love. Don't get me wrong, I love a ride hall and all that stuff, man. But if Anderson Silva was to ride off in the sunset with the win, I can go out there and get a picture with Anderson after his win. You know, that'd be amazing.
October 31st, UFC Fight Night, Las Vegas. Thank you, Adrian, for the time, man. It's going to be an incredible matchup. I love this matchup. Both you guys are great strikers, and who doesn't love that style?
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
you know, all the best, and I'll reach out again, man. Thanks.
And thank you very much, man. Thank you.
Hey guys, Sasha Platnikoff here, letting you know to tune in to SCMP Post Fight for all your weekly martial arts news.